3, 2, 1. Starting mission.
I reset the mission for 130 feet altitude. There's me just inside the door. Wave! There you go. That's me. I hide in that shadow just inside the door. So I figured 130 feet would give me another 20 feet down, and I could start seeing how close I was getting to the trees again. I kind of want to sneak up on that altitude. The sound is coming from the screen capture of the cell phone. I'm speaking in a voiceover after the fact. Still got that slow ascent speed, but I like it. So coming up on 130 feet, and it just blows right past it. So I go, well, darn. That's not right. It's back at 150 feet. So I aborted.
Mission stopped. Mission stopped.
Brought it back down. I reset everything, rebooted the phone, the whole 9 yards.
3, 2, 1.
And
Starting
tried
mission.
again. Wave. There you are. Forgot to, you can see the button on the right. I just turned on the record. Because for some reason it didn't start. Went right past 130 feet again, heading for 150, so I just said the heck with it again.
Mission stopped. Mission stopped.
The end of the mission also turns off the video. I was just bringing it back. So I gave up. I guess I need to go out to the flying fields where it's flat so I can test all this without the worry of trees. So I decided just to go for a joyride. Turn off the phone recording, the whole 9 yards, just go for a fun fly. So at this point, I decided just to go for a joyride. I was tired of messing with it. I've turned off the audio from the cell phone capture. Looks like I finally got that white junk off the left side of the cell phone capture, so that's coming around. Looks like I'm also just a little bit out of sync on those two videos. We'll live with that. It's not going to make a whole lot of difference. Now that's DJI Fly. That's DJI's fly program there. It doesn't block up the screen with all the stuff that Dronelink app does. So I stopped at the top of this tree trying to gauge its height. It's right at 80 feet. That's including the 10 extra feet of me being down in the uh, hole there a little bit. Well, that video's got even more out of sync. Just a second. We'll see if that's a little better synchronized. As I started over this way, I couldn't quite tell where that top of that tree was on the right because it kind of blends into the ones behind it. So I stopped here. And tried to get 10 or 20 feet above that tree. Oops, I think I got it even more out of sync, the two frames. That's okay. First attempt at doing this. I think I went the wrong way. So now this stand of trees out behind the new house is about 2.5 acres. It's on top of the hill. So that pine tree right there on the left, about the left quarter of the top picture, that's probably the biggest tree in the area. So I'll go over there one day and measure that and set about 15, 20 feet above that, and that'll be my flying altitude around here. So we can go ahead and cut out that overlay of the flight app in the bottom right of the screen. We don't need that anymore. I did figure out how to use it in the videos and get the white border off and all that good stuff. So I'll work on that more in the future. We'll just keep doing the fun fly here. Now that red tree on the left is also one. It's further up the hill from where I take off, so it's a little taller. This is where I started getting the idea that my gimbal ain't quite right. Started nagging in the back of my head. So flying around above the treetops, as if it was level ground at the treetops, testing these missions is all well and good. It's really fun for me to see an autonomous flying mission complete 100% successfully. It's a robot from the time it takes off to the time it lands itself, and that's an accomplishment to me. I like that. Reason for that is I want these autopilots to be my backup when I get in trouble. I can just flip it into hover, circle if it's an airplane, whatever. That's why I use these autopilots. Yikes, those limbs stick out a long way from those trees. But I also like flying down in the tree trunks. So I got back down near the ground in the back. I'd say I was 3 to 5 feet off the ground. Tilted up the gimbal here, and that's when I went, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. And what it is, there's a setting to release upward gimbal. I forget what it's called right this minute. Normally the gimbal will go up straight to 0. That's straight and level flight, hover. And then you can release it to go up 20 degrees from that. Somehow that got released. Here I am milking it down based on a graph of degrees on the screen. That's why these little increments are happening. Till I get it set back to 0. Right there's about 0. I will have to lock that 20 degrees above 0 out again and make sure if it gets unlocked again, it's got to be something in the Dronelink software, which I was playing with setup commands. Might have been how I did it. I'm not accusing Dronelink software of being bad right here. So I started out the bottom driveway, Michael did a great job clearing it of leaves, so I could see well. So right here I just put the sticks full forward and headed for the junction. This is P mode, or position mode, on the Mavic Mini. As fast as it goes in that mode. Sport mode, it'll go a little faster. Let off the joysticks there just so it would come to a stop. Reminder, I'm down in the basement. Actually have a lot of dirt between myself and the drone at this point. Also, as you saw in my previous videos, you can't just go flying off uphill without adding some elevation, because the tilt of the Mavic Mini causes the downward facing proximity sensors not to sense the ground, and you'll fly right into it, I assure you. And right here's where I felt I was close enough to the ground, so I gave it a little more elevation and took off again. I was quite happy that it was obeying my commands, and I had video reception with all the structure and dirt and stuff that was between me and the platform at that moment. Almost got a ghost limb there on the left. Right in the left corner of that basement door, you can see my hands and a little bit of my head. That's how, I'm not far back in the basement, but I am. As soon as I go past this point, it'll be dirt and building between me and the platform. I'm not sure what the platform will do, or I wasn't sure at this point what the platform would do if I got out of range. And out of range being that the house structure and the dirt decreases my range. So I headed for the front fields. Now somehow I missed it in the drone software, but right here it said video signal weak. I missed that. I was concerned about these trees I was going to head over to. So I turned it around, and that's when I started having a little control problem. It wasn't turning like it should. I think the antennas are in the back arms. I'm not sure. I turned it straight across that field and just lost contact with it. So right now I'm getting up and out of the basement, getting around and up the hill, because what I have on my display is the platform pointing straight across those fields. It did not register that it turned 90 degrees to that towards the new house. Now I walked out to the front porch, and of course getting even up the hill in the back of the house, my signal came back and I saw I was pointed in a strange direction. So my signal came back well. I pointed it back where I should have been pointing and just went full sticks ahead again across the front fields. I think if I sit on the front porch, I can fly anywhere on this property I want. See, I'm not going to be able to fly these fields from the basement. But that's okay with me. I don't need to be out next to the road anyway. I used to be in that field on the right, but now they're building a new house in it, so I kind of lost that field Not yet completely, but soon. I don't think the landlord will mind me flying in this field on this side of these bushes when they're living there. But I certainly no. They probably would say I could fly in this field all I wanted to, but I won't. It just won't be courteous. So I headed back for the front field again, over the power lines. Right there below me is where the power lines come from the road up to the house. I'm fairly aware of them. I just have to get aware of the trees. And see, that red one in the back on the other side of the house is taller than these in the foreground here. There you can see a little bit from the road to the drainage ditch in that brown area. You can see a little bit how the ground slopes down from the road there. And if I get around the house, I've got a large area around. If I'm over the house, then I'm completely free from trees. Power lines. Now then, I'm standing right here. That's my shadow. That's where I was flying from after I left the basement. So I sort of started walking around the house, intending on going back to the basement, and then I just let the platform get in front of me. While I was walking, I just kind of flew it. To me, this is pretty much joyride over. Go land it. Come back, do my videos. And of course, I got a wild hair. I've got props on order for the Mavic Mini. When I changed the props, I used up almost all my props. I just had the ones that came with it, but I ordered 2 new full sets. They should be here tomorrow. If they deliver, FedEx delivers on Sunday. Through the fence. Was glad the bottom sensors didn't sense the board and jump up. So that's basically all the joyride. That's all I'm going to do for today. I've got some other things in mind. Dronelink, I like it. I'll continue to use it, but I'm also going to do a lot more just fun flies. Again, thanks for watching.